Hey, remember this guy? So this is the Robotron I was working on when I left off in September of last year, 2016. It is now July of 2017, and I'm getting back into it. Every so often I'll just take an unexplained break from the hobby. Around that time I went on a bunch of vacations, enjoyed myself, kind of lost interest. I don't get rid of stuff when I lose interest because I know I'll come back to it. I've been in this hobby for about 10 years, and I always wind up taking like 6 months to 10 months off and then coming back with renewed interest and vigor. And yeah, so that's what happened. But the sides are pretty much as good as it's going to get, as well as the front. I'm going to put a coat of a gray silver paint on that. And maybe one day get stencils. We're going to call it done. It's about 90% smooth and done. So good enough for me. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to that stuff. When we left off, it was in the shed lying outside, and I was still bondoing it. That's all done. I moved it into the basement for winter to get it out of my shed because I needed room for my snowblower and other stuff. And we're going to be picking up work on this again, along with some other stuff, which I'll show you in a minute. Here's the G07 that, if you remember, we recapped and cleaned up. Still works well. I tested it last night with the test pattern generator, and it is ready to go as far as monitors go. It is not secured in there. I got to make sure I remember that and bolt it in. Cabinet's all nice and fairly clean. I just got to give it a vacuum down there. I did the simple greened it, the sides and the bottom. It doesn't have to be pristine. It's clean now. It doesn't smell. It doesn't stink of smoke. It doesn't stink of pot anymore like it did in the beginning. I remember I told you this thing smelled like weed. That's dissipated. So, fortunately or unfortunately, depending how you look at it. The boards got to go back in. I remember all the board work was done. I got all the boards down here, which I did my best not to scratch up and dent up and nick traces and all that stuff, which I think we should be good. You know, the only thing I realized too that I didn't realize at first, got a nice scratch right there. Hope that's not affecting anything. It looks like it's on a ground plane. Is that if I could do this without dropping it? Is that somebody did some work on here? Looks like you know, Betson had done some work, checked by whatever tech that is. So hopefully we're all good. You know, I guess we'll find out soon enough when we hook this thing up. I'll verify voltages and plug it in. So this board work here looks like it was well done. It could either be a good sign that somebody looked it over and tested it and checked it, and it should be good to go, or not. I mean, when I powered this on at the seller's house, it wasn't working, but that might have been maybe due to power supply issues or whatnot, which is all rebuilt. New headers, new ribbon cables. The only thing I didn't do is obviously I did not, as I'm trying to one-hand the circuit board without dropping it. Got new RAM in there if I do the RAM conversion, like the 4146 or whatever conversion. I forget. Didn't do the plugs. The only plug I did was this one down here coming right off the power supply because that thing was a disaster. But if I have any problems, what I'll do is I'll wind up repinning all these. I have all the equipment. Maybe I'll still do that repinning video, even though John's Arcade just did one and there are a million other ones. But I'll go super basic. Sometimes I don't think these guys go basic enough. Maybe I'll do a repinning for dummies. Maybe not. I'll see. So the plan is either later today or tomorrow, I'm going to plug all this stuff in and see if it works. Also, what I'll be working on is Cloak and Dagger. I bought this last year. I forgot if I made a video on it. I bought it non-working. Still doesn't work. Got a new interconnect board. If you know anything about Cloak and Dagger, it's 2 Atari boards, 2 big boards that have an interconnect on the end. I get some kind of comm or communication slave error. You have a master board and a slave board. And from what I could tell from the manual, it looks like that it's a RAM problem, long story short. So we're going to change out the RAM maybe and we'll see. I don't know if somebody put this CPO on here drunk. As you can see, it's a little uneven. They put some tape here to even it out. Whatever. We'll take that out and we'll redo it. Kick plate art too. Otherwise, it's okay. Coin door could probably be shined up a little bit. Again, not looking for perfection. And paint it a little bit, and it'll be good to go. Everything else is good. My Miss Pac Cabaret, which I have separate videos on. Even when I was on my little arcade break, that still got played by my wife and myself. Paperboy and Track and Field are doing well. They're good to go. There's all my crap, electronics and all that stuff. For the mediocre technician that I am. I have about a 75% success rate. That's why I don't work on anyone else's stuff, just mine. Contra, it's my MAME cabinet, which I'm really, I'm kind of tiring of my MAME cabinet, believe it or not. But I guess it's good to have. Whirlwind, which is fine. This will be a Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Bought it as a clutch hitter. I really don't care for clutch hitter. I got a replacement control panel. Street Fighter 2 control panel. I just have to clean up, paint, put an overlay on it, and add stuff to. I also have a Street Fighter 2 bezel somewhere. My MVS, my 2-slot, which is going to need a... I fixed that up a while ago. Rebuilt that entire corner at a Bondo. Didn't do a very good job because it's shallower than the other, but whatever. Got to replace the monitor or the tube in this. I got a tube to swap out. Maybe we'll do a video on that. People can see me electrocute myself on the tube swap. That'll be fun. My Zookeeper Kicks Cabaret, which is a Tato trim line, which is always nice. My Tornado Bowler, Big Ball Bowler, which doesn't count strikes correctly. I'm going to have to find someone to repair that because that just scares me, if I'm being honest. Mini Golf. I was going to sell this, but now I kind of want to keep it. I'm looking for a stocker. I got to give me a break for that too. The same guy I got the topper from has some Sente stuff. I mentioned stocker. He didn't seem to ring a bell for him. Funhouse, which I saved from Hurricane Sandy, right there. And Trivia was. That's putting in my kid stuff. So there you go. Like I said, we'll be coming back to this Robotron to see what we could do with it. And maybe we'll get lucky. We'll plug everything in. We'll turn it on, and it'll work. But somehow I doubt it. That's not how. That's not how I roll usually. So we'll see. I'll be seeing you again soon.